Welcome back to the Badass Literature Society, where badasses come together to rate and review novels recommended by you. Hi, I'm Michael.
This is Barbara.
And we're back for another bonus episode. This time we're talking about The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss and what our dream casting would be if they made a movie or TV show adaptation. It's just me and Barbara this month because Lauren was not present for this original episode and has not read this book. So we're just going to be the two of us. And now Barbara's going to give us a quick synopsis of the book before we dive back into who our cast would be.
So the back of the book reads, I have stolen princesses back from sleeping Barrow kings. I burned down the town of Tribun. I have spent the night with Florian and left with both my sanity and my life. I was expelled from the university at a younger age than most people are allowed in. I tread paths by moonlight that others fear to speak of during day. I have talked to gods, loved women, and written songs that make the minstrels weep. My name is Quoth. You may have heard of me. So begins the tale of Quoth, currently known as Coat, the unassuming innkeeper, from his childhood in a troupe of traveling players, through his years spent as a near feral orphan in a crime-riddled city, to his daringly brazen yet successful bid to enter a difficult and dangerous school of magic. In these pages, you'll come to know Quoth, the notorious magician, the accomplished thief, the masterful musician, the dragon slayer, the legend hunter, the lover, the thief, and the infamous assassin.
So now that we've had a quick reminder of what the book is about, or at least the back of the book part of it, let's get into our dream cast. So how this is going to go is we're going to name the character, and then we're going to go back and forth talking about who we would pick to play that role and why we would pick that person briefly. Obviously, we're going to start with the main character that Barbara would probably argue is the only main character in this book. So we're going to talk about Quoth. For Quoth, we chose to cast 3 different versions of him. So present day at the tavern or the inn where he works, when he's a child at the beginning of the book, and when he is at university and he's a little bit older teenager. So I'm going to let Barbara go first and give us her recommendation for present day Quoth.
Oh, we're doing present day Quoth first. So I would cast Aaron Taylor Johnson. And if you don't recognize him, he played Dave or Kick-Ass in the movie Kick-Ass, or Pietro Maximoff in the Avengers Age of Ultron. So I would cast him just because I feel like he exudes that cockiness, and like, especially in Pietro and stuff and some other roles that he's done, I feel like he can play that really well, that cockiness and full of yourself. And he can also play kind of like the nerdy innkeeper type person, because that's kind of how he started off as Dave in Kick-Ass.
True.
You know, he's kind of like that nerdy kid in the beginning of that movie. So I feel like he can play both roles really well, and I feel like that's Quoth, because at present day Quoth is trying to pretend that he's not, quote unquote, this badass man that he loves to pretend that he is. So and then I feel like he's young enough to kind of play whatever age he's supposed to be, like his 30s or whatever, or younger. But so that's what I picked.
I like that.
And you can just dye people's hair. Like, there's no redhead. Like, it's hard to just pick someone who looks like that. So I kind of wanted to be based off of acting skills rather than what he looks like. And you can just dye his hair. Like, obviously, he's dyed his hair before. So
I think that's a good choice. What's funny is we both picked MCU alums for our present day Quoth, because I picked Tom Hiddleston to play present day Quoth. He played Loki.
He's old though.
He's a little bit old, but I don't think he looks that old. Like
yes, he does. He does. He looks.
But they also mentioned that like the Quoth at the end, like he looks to be older than he is. Like that was kind of the
But you said that he was supposed to be in his 25, and you picked a 40-year-old man to play him.
I did. Pick Tom Hiddleston. I think it's a good choice. I think that his acting chops will do it. I think that he's got that same, like when he plays Loki, he's got that same like cocky attitude that.
I'm not saying he doesn't fit the bill. He totally does. But I thought he was supposed to be a younger character. That's why I picked someone younger. I mean, if I would have known, picked him too. Shit.
I mean, I looked at it like, Hollywood cast like 30-year-olds to play high schoolers. So I figured I could cast a 40-year-old.
Yeah, but I hate when they do that. So I tried to stay relevant with their age. So people just keep that in mind. Mine is actually supposed to be around their age.
So yeah, I thought Tom Hiddleston, his general personality and stuff is perfect for this. I think obviously the red hair thing, you can dye his hair. And but yeah, that's what I picked for my present day quote was Tom Hiddleston. So we'll move on from there to university age Quoth. So we'll just go back in time step by step here. For university age Quoth, I think that Barbara is going to be a little bit surprised at the one that I picked for this, because I picked Asa Butterfield. You don't immediately recognize that name. He played the main character in the Netflix show Sex Education.
He's done a ton of roles. He's
that's probably his biggest role I thought of anyway when I picked him. But I think that like his overall like demeanor and the way that he portrays himself is kind of like awkward but still like tongue in cheek and funny. I thought that he was a perfect choice for university age Quoth. I think that I think he'd do a really good job, and he's got the acting chops as well, in my opinion. I think he'd be great.
I mean, I'm not surprised. Like, I like him as an actor. I just don't see him as a Quoth. Whatever his name is. Such a stupid
Quoth.
name. Quoth. I picked someone a little bit younger. I picked Finn Wolfhard, I believe is his name. So if you don't know him, I think his biggest role would be Mike in Stranger Things.
Yeah, I'd say so too.
I just picked him because I feel like he's a little shithead. He's played little shitheads and stuff. I feel like Mike is kind of a shithead at times, and also in like It, he played some character in It. I can't remember what his character's name in It was. But he's
I don't remember either, but
a shithead in that role. So I feel like he can play a good Quoth, whatever. The only problem I might have with Finn is just he seems like he would be he kind of seems awkwardly tall, and I'm not sure how tall he is in real life, but I pictured Quoth being shorter, because I'm pretty sure they even said that he was supposed to be shorter since he's only supposed to be like 15 at the time. So I think that might be my only issue with Finn, but I think he could play that, pretend that he's awkward, but not really, and he's actually just full of himself role really well.
No, I think that's an interesting choice. I considered Finn Wolfhard actually for when I was going through this and decided.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah, I decided I liked Asa better. But I mean, if height is going to be an issue, then we're going to have an issue with both of our castings. Because I think
Asa's tall, and
Asa's
lanky.
Not a short man by any means. So
it's funny that we picked two tall, lanky guys.
Tall, lanky guys. Yeah, yours is closer to the right age because Finn is 18 and Ace is 23. So he's not that far off. And I feel like if he can play a high school student in Sex Education, then...
Yeah, he does look quite young for his age.
He looks younger than he is.
Yeah. But...
So that's Quoth, at least his older self. Let's talk about youngin' Quoth.
Well, that's not his older self. That's university Quoth. He's 15, mind you. 15. That's true.
He lived an eventful life. So yeah, who would you have picked, Barbara, for at the beginning of the book when we see him as a young boy?
So I picked Jacob Tremblay. I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce his last name, but I recognized him from Room. He plays Jack in Room, and I think he's a very talented kid. Even like, especially since we kind of see Quoth at this age when he's a little orphan and, stealing and getting beat up and that whole part of the book, which was really unnecessary, but whatever. I think he would play a really good young Quoth during that, because I think he's a very talented actor, and he even played in Good Boys, I think it's called. He played someone in that. I think his name was Max. I think it's called Good Boys.
Do you know the R-rated comedy?
Yeah, with the little kids and stuff like that. So I can see him once again kind of playing that, he's versatile. He's a versatile actor. So that's why I picked him. He's a little bit old. I think he's 14. So technically he should be university, but since we're going to age him up because this is Hollywood, he can play a little 10-year-old.
I think that is the most amazing choice that you'll make of this whole list, because it's also my choice. I also cast Jacob as child. I mean, he was the first one that came to mind for the role. He's just such a great actor. I feel like he would bring a lot to the table for this.
Originally I had him for university Quoth, but since you're like, no, you have to pick someone who's older because
I didn't say you had to. I said that's what I was doing. I didn't say you had to pick him.
So I was like, well, he's apparently too young to be playing university Quoth, since he's supposed, even though he's only 15. But so I was like, well, fine, I'll pick him for younger Quoth.
So that's who I picked as well. I think he'd be fantastic in that role. So we're on the same page there. Moving on from the main character, the next one on our list is Denna.
The only character.
Also considered a main character, the main female character, even though Barbara would argue she's not in the book enough to be considered that.
She's not a main. The only main character is literally quote. That's all. This book is literally like 99% him, and then you get some sprinkled side characters.
So for Denna, I'm going to go first on this one, and I would have cast Zendaya in the role of Denna. I think that she would be really good. I think she's about the same age as who I cast for that age quoth. She's 24, Ace is 23, so close enough in age. And
yeah, but she looks older than
she plays a high schooler. Plays a high schooler in the Spider-Man movies, so it's not too far of a stretch. But I think that she's shown lately that she's got some serious acting chops, and I think
she's a hell of an actress.
I think she would bring some really cool things to this role. So yeah, that's my Denna is Zendaya. I think she'd be awesome in that role.
I think Zendaya is too big for this movie, personally.
I think this would be if this movie ever gets made, I think you'll be surprised at the big names that will be involved in it. But.
I know, but like if I was Zendaya, I wouldn't want to play this role because you're pretty much just a side piece for Quoth. So I'm just saying, like any female would be like, no.
Again, I think you'll be surprised if they ever make this movie at who will play this role. But Zendaya is who I would pick if it was cast right now and I could pick anybody. I think she'd be amazing as Denna.
Yes. Okay, fair enough. I pick Jenna Ortega, and I know her from the second season of the Netflix TV show You. She plays Ellie. And some people, when she was younger, she played a young Jane in Jane the Virgin, which I don't think you've seen anything of hers. So
no, I'm looking her up now.
I was going to say you need to Google her. So she's around the age, I think she's 19 or something like that. So I wanted to pick someone to fit the age. And I think
played the little girl in Insidious 2.
Okay, I don't think I ever saw that. But
yeah.
Yes, I picked her just because I really, really liked her character in You, because she's kind of like a sassy person, but also has like a vulnerable side to her character in that TV show, and that's who I was picking more towards. I wanted someone younger and that could have that range of where you can still be kind of sassy and spunky and passionate and stuff like that, which is, like the 2 seconds that we get of Denna, but also like that vulnerable side that you get a little bit of Denna as well. So yeah. I feel like she would play that really well because I really, really liked her in You.
So I didn't watch all of You with you, but I saw part of it. Is she the little sister of his landlord?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
That's her.
Okay. Yeah. I think that's a good choice. I can get behind that. Moving on from Denna, we're going to go to one of the other females in the movie, female characters in the movie.
Like the slight two.
Fela is how I pronounce. I don't know how the name is pronounced officially, but she's the classmate, another classmate of Quoth's at university, and this is the one that he saves from the
damsel in distress. So she's literally only there for him to rescue. Let's be honest.
But he rescued her from his own screw up, which is entertaining. But since I went first last time, you can go first this time. So who did you pick as Fela?
So I picked Kiernan Shipka, and she plays Sabrina from the Chilling Adventures of the new Sabrina TV show. What are you looking at me like that?
We picked the same person again. I also picked Kiernan Shipka.
Oh, really? I really like her. I know I don't think she's a natural blonde. I think they dyed her hair for that TV show. I think she has maybe lighter brown hair, and I think Fela is supposed to have dark features.
I think so.
So, but I think she's a really good, talented younger actress and stuff like that. And I've seen her in other, like a Netflix movie, like the Christmas Netflix movie that I made you watch with me. I believe she's also in that. And I just think she has range. I mean, unfortunately, she's just a side character for a piece of meat, essentially. But I think she could bring some cool stuff to that role.
So I also picked Kiernan Shipka because I thought she would be good in this role. She's, the Fela or Fela, or however we say it's pronounced, is not like the main female character like Denna. So I thought Kiernan would be great for this because she's not as well known as Zendaya, but still a really good actor. I liked her in what we watched of Sabrina, and then I had seen her in the Christmas movie that you mentioned that you made me watch, and then Mad Men as well. She played Don Draper's daughter in that TV show too. So.
I haven't watched that, so I didn't realize she was in that.
So I think Kiernan Shipka would be great in that role. I think she's a good actress. moving on from her, we're going to talk about an early book character, Abinthy, the Dumbledore of our story of sorts, who teaches both how to control the wind at first, or the name of the wind, the name of the book.
No, he doesn't teach him how to control it. He pretty much teaches him about the magic system. True. He doesn't teach him.
Master Eladin teaches him how to control it.
No, he doesn't control anything yet. He doesn't know anything about the name of the wind, Michael. You're getting a little ahead of yourself here.
All right. Abinthy is at the beginning of the book. He's with his parents when he's a very young boy. And
he's the one who made him realize that that's what he wants to do, is go to the university to learn this.
Correct. He inspired him to go to university and encouraged him to do so. And in that role, I cast Jeremy Irons. I think Jeremy Irons would be a great Abinthy. Jeremy Irons, for those of you who don't know who Jeremy Irons is, and if you don't, you're done yourself a disservice in life by not recognizing him. But he played Scar in the original Lion King. More recently, he played Alfred in the DC EU, the new Batman movie, and Justice League. But he's been in tons of stuff over the years. He was in The Merchant of Venice. He was in The Man in the Iron Mask. He was in the TV show about I can't remember the name of it now. The Borgias. He was in that TV show. He played the lead in that. He's a great actor. He's the right age for this role, and I think that he would make a great Abinthy. I think it'd be fun to see him in that role.
Oh, I can see that. I picked Anthony Hopkins. Just because Anthony Hopkins. And I feel like if you don't know who that is, then like you've been living under a rock. Because
I don't know who that is. I'm familiar with a Sir Anthony Hopkins, but I've never heard of just Anthony Hopkins.
Is he really a Sir Anthony Hopkins?
It is. He's been knighted. It is Sir Anthony Hopkins.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, well, Sir Anthony Hopkins is who I would pick because I love me some Sir Anthony Hopkins, and I feel like he would play a good role for like teaching role for this. So that's why I picked him.
Yeah, no, I actually 100% agree. That was one of the ones that you told me when we were getting our notes ready for this, and I think Anthony Hopkins would be a great choice for this. She said she was picking him, shortly followed by, and you can't pick him now.
Yeah, I thought that was a good one.
It is. It's a solid choice. I think that'd be a great choice for Abinthy. So now we've gotten the early teacher out of the way. Let's talk about a couple of the university professors that he had, or the university masters, as they were called in this book. Master Kilvin first, who was the artificing teacher. So I think I gave the name first last time, Barbara, so it's your turn to let us know who you think should play Master Kilvin.
I did Idris Elba because I would just love to see him.
God damn it.
He's, like a nice burly looking man, and I feel like he's gentle and yet sage-wise and smart and all the things. And I just want to see Idris Elba on the big screen, so that's who I would cast.
So I also picked Idris Elba for this role.
Oh, is that how you say it? Idris Elba? No,
Idris Elba. But I'm going to change my choice now because Barbara picked him. So I'm going to choose my backup choice for Master Kilvin. I can't.
Fine, then my backup choice for all the other people that you picked the same as me are.
We only had one other similar one.
We had two.
No, and two.
So
fine. Idris Elba was my choice for this. He was my first choice for this role. I think that for similar reasons to what Barbara said, except in a slightly less sultry voice when I talk about his beefy body. Idris Elba is a great actor. I think that he's not maybe quite as old as Master Kilvin is, but I think he could
How old is Master Kilvin supposed to be?
So I thought he was older, like in his not like a 70s or anything like that, but like 60s maybe, like just a little. He was still like in very good shape, like a large man, but I got the vibe that he was older than Idris Elba is. And,
I pictured someone like Idris Elba.
Yeah, I think he'd be great in this role. I think you're absolutely right. Solid choice. He's fine. That's fine. I'll agree with that. He's a very attractive man.
No, not fine. Fine.
I'm not going to say it like that. That's you can keep that to yourself. So
keep that to myself.
Keep that to yourself. Yeah.
I said it out loud. Now it's out loud.
It's
Michael.
out there. It's in the world.
Mm-hmm.
The next teacher the only other teacher we're actually going to talk about in this podcast is Master Eladin or Elodin. I don't know exactly how it's pronounced, that name, but he is the youngest master at the university, and kind of crazy. The other masters think he's kind of crazy, and he ends up. It was at the very end of the book that he ends up kind of taking Kvothe under his wing, right? Wasn't that at the very end?
No, kind of. So, like, originally Quoth wanted him to be his teacher, and then he took him to, like, that, I don't know, like, it's not like, kind of a area for students that didn't do so well, and they kind of little went crazy or whatever, and and he showed him, like, that's where he was held for a time period, and then he told Quoth to, like, jump, and Quoth did, and then he's like, oh, you're crazy, I'm not going to train you. And then later, when he was supposed to get kicked out of the university and he didn't get kicked out of the university, and he's like, oh, I'll be your master and blah blah.
That's right. He felt a kinship to him after he almost got expelled. I remember that now. So anyway, for that master, because it was a slightly younger person, I actually picked Ezra Miller to play that role. I think Ezra Miller would have been a great Master Illidan. He's probably a little young for what he really was, but I think you could age him up. I mean, Hollywood has shown that that's not hard to do, aging up or aging down. They can make Samuel L. Jackson look like a young man again for Captain Marvel. They can make Ezra Miller look a little bit older for this. But I think his personality as an actor would be great for this. I mean, what you see is him in Justice League and as the Flash, like his kind of sense of humor, and also like the dramatic chops that you see in other roles he's played, probably most notably the Fantastic Beasts series. I think he'd be a very good choice for this.
It's funny because I originally had him as that, but then when you said that he's supposed to be kind of a bit older, like 30s or something like that, I was like, okay, well, Ezra Miller isn't in his 30s, or I don't think he is. If he is, he's young 30s. I think he's in his late 20s, though.
I think you're right.
So I was like, okay, well, I guess he's not going to fit because he's supposed to be a little bit older. So it's funny that you said that because I was actually going to pick him. I actually know Ezra Miller from other TV shows. Or
oh yeah, the Wallflower movie, right?
The Wallflower movie, yeah.
Yeah.
So I can definitely see him playing Master Illidan. It just depends on how old they want to make him in the movie. So
True.
That's why I didn't pick him. I actually went after the fact. I went with Robert Sheehan. And
okay.
most people will know him from his current stint as Klaus Hargreaves from the Umbrella Academy. But I actually knew him from his Misfits days, and he played Nathan in that TV show. And I freaking fell in love with him in Misfits. So I feel like he's kooky enough to play this character because this character is supposed to be kooky, but he can also play a really serious role as well. And I feel like you can really see that in the Umbrella Academy, where he kind of plays a all over the place character, and he's got the acting chops to do, I feel like, this role, since this role is a little all over the place. Like, he's kooky but really smart, obviously, because he was really young when he went and became a master and all that jazz. So I feel like he would play a good Master Illidan.
I think that is a really good choice for this, actually. Robert Sheehan's going to pop up on my list a little later in the podcast because I also picked him for something, but not for this.
Interesting. The heck would you play for?
It's funny that you said that you had Ezra and then you aged up, because for this role originally I had Johnny Depp and then I aged down because I thought Johnny Depp was too old.
That's way too old.
But like his personality is perfect for
Master I get that, but like obviously because him in the Pirates of the Caribbean, like amazing, like he plays that's him. But I feel like he's way too old to play that role because Master Illidan's supposed to be literally the youngest master.
Yep, which is why I went with Ezra Miller, which I think both of our choices there would be great actually in this role. Moving on from Master Illidan, we're going to talk about Debbie, who was the thief / loan shark that kept giving Quoth money in the movie. Another female character, slightly older than the others. So, Barbara, who did you go with for Debbie?
I went with Anna Sophia Robb.
Who is she?
So I know her from Bridge to Terabithia. She played the Leslie from Bridge to Terabithia, but she's been in a like she was in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, like the new one with what's his face, with Johnny Depp. She was Viola or Violet, not Viola. Sorry,
Violet. I've never seen that either.
Oh my god, what is wrong with you? Seriously, I can't believe you've never seen that.
Yeah, I've never seen that.
So I'm not quite. I know the person's supposed to be older. I'm not quite sure how old she is. I think she's in her 20s, and I pictured Debbie maybe in her late 20s. So maybe Anna Sophia Robb would be a little too young to play this role, but I'm not quite sure how old Debbie's supposed to be. Like, I feel like she was only supposed to be a few years older than Quoth, right? Do you know?
I think that she's like late 20s or like early 30s is kind of what I was thinking. So I
Oh,
just looked
really?
her up because
Early
I was
30s?
curious, and she's 27, so I think she
Oh,
falls into
okay.
that.
Well, she's
That's like
not
that, all
quite
right.
30. But like the reason she's a really good actress, I think. She also played like a young Carrie Bradshaw in like the young Carrie Bradshaw Diaries, or I don't know what that show is called, but she like played that role. But she's actually really petite. She's like 5 foot even. And I picked Devi, or I pictured Devi as someone really short and petite because I think he describes her as like pixie like or something like that, I think, at one point. So I picked her for that too. And I just think she's a good actress. And I think she has a well rounded where she can play like the sweet character, but also like a cutthroat type person. From Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, she played Violet. So that's kind of why I picked her.
Fair enough. I mean, looking at her picture, I can definitely see that as similar to how I pictured Debbie. I can't speak to her acting chops because I've never seen. I looked at her filmography and I
You've
have never
never seen her in
never
anything?
seen anything she's been in. So
Really? What about Race to
um,
Witch Mountain? That was a great movie.
I know it's like one of the few Dwayne Johnson movies I haven't seen. But
Oh my gosh. How dare you? I can't believe
I
you've
know.
literally never seen any of her movies. That's
No, I
pretty.
haven't. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory is probably one I should see, but I never did see the remake. I never got around to
I
seeing it.
like that one. I mean, Johnny Depp played a creepy. Anyways, I digress. Your turn.
So I cast a similarly petite blonde actress in this role. I picked Margot Robbie.
Margot Robbie, Michael.
Margot Robbie as
She's
Debbie.
she's how? No, I'm sorry. I think you're way off in Devi here.
Why?
Because because Margot Robbie is like gorgeous, and I feel like Devi's supposed to be attractive, but not that attractive. I think Margot Robbie is too attractive for Devi.
Debbie was described as very attractive in the books. She's very
Not
attractive.
very attractive. She was just like she's. Let's be honest.
button.
Let's be honest. According to Quoth, all the females are attractive. Like, there's not one unattractive female in the book. Let's be honest. Like, everyone he meets, he's like, oh, she's so pretty.
The reason that I picked Margot Robbie for Debbie is partially because of the description of the character, and I saw her, but also like she's kind of described in the book as having like I don't want to say like a split personality because that's not right, but kind of like a Jekyll and Hyde kind of deal where like when she's friendly with you, like she's like friendly and flirtatious and she's very, very nice and joking. And then when she's businesslike, she's like, no, like she's quick to anger. She's going to like screw you up.
So her Harley Quinn character, you mean?
That's, yeah.
Okay,
that's
but Margot Robbie is
right.
5'6". So how is she petite and pixie-like, Michael? She is 5'6". That's taller than me.
All right, fine. So maybe she's not as petite and pixie-like, but I think she'd play her. I think her personality would go great for this role, and I picked Margot Robbie. I think she'd be great as Debbie.
I would hate it if she picked that role because she's better than that. Sorry,
that's my choice, and I'm sticking with it.
I absolutely hate your choice for that. I'm sorry, I do not agree with that.
Rude,
whatsoever.
but fine. I
no,
can live
it's
with
not.
that.
You can say you don't like mine either.
Moving on from Debbie, let's talk about Ambrose Jackies. He was, as Barbara eloquently put it, the Draco Malfoy to Quoth's Harry Potter. He's kind of he's not really a bad guy. He's just like a kind of a douchebag who gives Quoth a hard time throughout.
How's he not a bad guy? He literally hired someone to murder him. How's that not a bad guy, Michael?
I mean, he's not like the villain in the book.
No, he's not Lord Voldemort. He's Draco Malfoy. Lord Voldemort would be the Chandrians.
He's not a good person, but he's not like the villain. But anyway, he's a little bit older than Quoth. I cast, and I think Barbara's gonna. I don't know how she's gonna feel about this one. I cast Joe Keery in this role as Ambrose.
I'm not sure
Joe Keery,
what that is.
You might know him from Steve in Stranger Things.
Oh, okay.
I thought so. Steve is the reason I picked him for this is kind of in the book we see like a couple different sides of Ambrose. Like you see like his like kind of like douchey, like all about himself, thinking he's hot stuff, which you get from Steve in season 1 of Stranger Things. And then you see a little bit different, like behind the curtain in Ambrose a little bit later on in the book. And that's more what you get with this character of Steve.
How do you see Ambrose in a different light, Michael? He's just an overall douchebag. Like what scene are you talking about where you see him in a different light?
There was another character later in the book that described him differently. I could not find it to save my life.
Because it's just in your head. Everyone's going to agree with me on that one.
Anyway, I thought Joe Keery was a good choice for this. I thought like the general description of like the way that the character looked, as well as like the personality, I think Joe could bring to
God, you're 0 for 2 on this, man. 0 for 2. I think that's that's a bad cast.
I don't think so.
Obviously, you picked it. Oh, I don't know if I don't think I agree with you at all on that one, but fair enough. I picked Will Poulter. I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce it. Poulter. I know him as Gally in Maze Runner. He played the douchebag in the Maze Runner, but he's in We're the Millers. He's Kenny, like the doofus in that one.
Yeah.
But I'm basing this more on his character as the Maze Runner, because he's in the books he's supposed to be like the main bad guy in the first book, and then in the movies he is also the bad guy, but not the like, just like in this sense, like he's not the biggest bad guy. He's just one of the bad guys, and I think he's a very talented actor, very talented.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think he would really do well in this one. The only thing is, like, he's not attractive looking. At least I don't think so. He's kind of a funny looking kid. So, and Ambrose is supposed to be like attractive looking. So I think that would be the only issue some people might have, is just he's not your stereotypical like Hollywood attractive main looking guy. But I think his acting chops would more than cover that aspect of it personally.
Yeah.
So
no, yeah, I agree. From an acting perspective, he'd be fantastic. Mm-hmm. He's definitely not like traditionally attractive like Ambrose is described to be. He's kind of like a ladies' man. He's not a good ladies' man, because he's not a very nice person.
An asshole. Like, he's not a ladies' man.
Women.
He mistreats women.
He's charming. He's good at getting them to talk to him. He's not nice to them after he gets them to talk to him. But
right.
See, I think that's a good choice. I think that he plays a lot of roles. Where he's kind of like, he was in that movie Detroit that I watched on the plane, and he played a racist cop in that. You wanted to just like hit him in the face. Oh yeah, he was great.
He plays really, like, he plays those characters really well. So that's who I picked, because I was like,
I can see that. Solid choice.
Hi, I'm Bethany Finger, the host of Prince Kai Fan Pod, a Marissa Meyer book club podcast. Join me every week during my read-along journey through all of the books by author Marissa Meyer, one chapter at a time, spoiler-free. Each episode will feature a different guest, new fan art, and laughter and joy through reading. You can find Prince Kai Fan Pod on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and all other listening platforms. And now, back to the show.
So now we're going to go back in time again in the book, and we're going to talk about Kvothe's dad and mom. We'll start with his dad, Arladin, and I will let Barbara start as to who she cast as Kvothe's dad first.
So obviously, because when you think of dads, you think of like older people. I wanted to pick someone a little bit younger, but I would feel like that would have been kind of weird. So I picked someone, not that he's old by any stretch of the word, just older characters I wanted to pick, just because I feel like I picked a lot of young people. So I picked James Marsden. Do you know who? You should know who he's. The original Scott Summers, or Cyclops from X-Men, and he's a really good singer, because I'm pretty sure he is, because he's in Enchanted, like the Disney movie. Did you ever watch Enchanted? Like, he plays the prince in that.
Yeah. And
I'm pretty sure he sings. Like, I think he's actually a really good, because he's in Hairspray too. So yeah, he's an amazing singer. So I pictured, like, obviously Quo's father is supposed to be like a really good like singer and majestic and all this thing, and it's really good looking. And I think James Marsden is a really attractive actor. And I think he's in that age range where like he's supposed to be, like, you can see him playing a father, essentially, is what I'm trying to get at here. Not that he's not old by any stretch of the word.
He's 47, so he's
right.
Yeah.
So that's who I picked, because James Marsden.
I think that's a solid choice. I wouldn't be mad at James Marsden.
Plus, I wanted someone who could sing well. And I feel like
I'm
in
glad
just
you
in
picked
case,
someone a little bit older, because that makes me feel better about my choice, because we both picked singers as well as former X-Men. I picked Hugh Jackman to be Kvothe's dad.
Okay.
I thought Hugh Jackman, like when I thought about like his role in the book and like the fact that he like when he walked into a room, he just took control of the room. Like he was just like the spotlight was on him all the time. Hugh Jackman's the first person I thought of, like his personality in like The Greatest Showman, or like the way he played the main character or one of the main characters in Les Miserables, or even his role as Wolverine. Like he's a really good actor, and he also has an amazing voice. He's a little bit older than James Marsden. I think he's 52. It's not that much older, but
no, but I think James Marsden.
I thought Hugh Jackman would be good.
Aged better.
Do you think Hugh Jackman is an okay choice, or are you going to condemn this one?
No,
as well?
I like Hugh Jackman. I wouldn't consider him like he's attractive, but not like James Marsden attractive, if you get my drift.
Fair enough.
But I mean, everyone's entitled. Like some people might think Hugh Jackman is like the sexiest man alive. Obviously,
yeah, maybe.
Like he's a very attractive man. Don't get me wrong, but
so we talked about the dad. Let's talk about the mom. The mom was, what was her name? Lorian was her name. Yes, and so Co's mom. I cast another singer in this role, and it's Anne Hathaway. I thought Anne Hathaway would be a really good choice for Co's mom. She's pretty. She has the right hair for the role, and she kind of looks the way that the mom was described in the book.
Hair. You can dye hair. You can wear wigs.
I don't care.
I know. You can wear wigs.
She also is a great singer and a great actress. So I think that Anne Hathaway would be really good.
How old is? I feel like Anne Hathaway might be.
She's 38.
Young.
She's 38. So really? She's not. Yeah, so she's not super.
So you have Hugh Jackman, who's like 50 something, and of course you would pick a younger actress to play the mom. God, that's so stereotypical.
She's like 12 years older than her.
Right.
Yeah, so I picked Anne Hathaway. That was my choice for the mom. Who did you pick?
Fair enough. I do like me some Anne Hathaway. I can't picture her as a mom role just yet, I feel like, because she's leading lady like. But anyways, I actually just picked Kate Beckinsale because I really like Kate Beckinsale and I wanted to see her in my movie. So that's literally just why. Like, I don't even think Kate Beckinsale can sing. I don't think she can, but she cracks me up. She's hilarious. And I just wanted to pick her, honestly. I think she's beautiful, and his mom's supposed to be really gorgeous, even though all the women literally all the women in the book are like drop dead sexy, according to quotes. So I just wanted a beautiful person, and I'm like, Kate Beckinsale it is. I think she's a great actress too, but some people might not think so, but I like her.
Fair enough. I think your reasoning was what made me laugh. Like, you're like, I just wanted her in the movie. She had to be in the movie, so I picked her and put her in the movie.
Like, she's played a mother roles before, so she can play a mom, and I think she's played a lot of different roles. She's all over the place. Like, she did Underworld, where she's like a badass character. And then she did Click, which was like more of an emotional role, which you wouldn't think so. And she was hilarious in that too, and funny. And, so I just wanted Kate Beckinsale.
I think Anne Hathaway is a better choice for the role.
If you want a singer, but I just can't picture, I don't know. I guess. I mean, Anne Hathaway is an amazing singer, so if you want a singer for that role, you definitely pick one over mine. I don't think she can sing. Once again, I have no idea.
I like Beckinsale too. She's great. I don't think I've disliked anything she's been in, and she is hilarious. I enjoy her.
Van Helsing was a bad role. Oof. Hey, guess what? Hugh Jackman was in that.
True.
That was a bad movie.
So moving on from there, we're going to talk about his university friends. First, the Odd Duck Out Manet or Manet. I don't know exactly how that was pronounced. But it's like the guy that hung out with him and his friends that's like in his 50s. And I thought it was a very random character in the book, but he was an entertaining character.
Well, it's because he never wants to graduate, essentially. Like, right. He just wants to remain in that role and learn, I guess. I mean, if you can afford it, sure.
That's true. Yeah. I mean, so the only person that came to mind for this one, I think it's my turn to go first, right? Didn't you? No, I shared Anne Hathaway first last time. It's your turn to go first. I'm so sorry. Who is your Manet or Manette or however you pronounce his name?
So I picked the dude from Game of Thrones who played Torment Giantsbane, the redheaded with the beard who had a crush on Brienne of Tarth, and that's Christopher Hivju. Oh man, I'm so sorry. He's he's Norwegian, I believe, actor.
He is, yeah.
Kristoffer Hiju. I don't know how do you say Hivju is.
Your guess is as good as mine.
I apologize. I'm totally butchering your name, good sir. Like he then listens to this, but that's who I picked because even though he's not 50 by any stretch, like I think he's actually quite a bit younger than that. But when I picture of someone who's like a goofy but lovable with like a scraggly beard, that's who I pictured. So I pictured him for this role.
That's fair. I think he would be great in that role. I'm not going to disagree with you. You're going to get to see him in another fantasy TV show. He's actually playing a role in the next season of The Witcher. He'll be in season 2.
He'll be perfect in that. But I did probably age him. Like I don't think he's anywhere near 50. I think he's quite much younger than that. But
you definitely did age him.
That's fine. You picked real young people, real old people.
He's
this is
42,
my show.
Though. Actually, he's older than I thought he was. So he's 42. That's not that big of a jump. So for me, for this role, I picked Gary Oldman.
What?
Gary Oldman,
Michael. Sirius Black? How dare you?
Gary Oldman. Look at all like the diverse characters he's played throughout his career. Like he brings so much charm and like this, like he plays them perfectly. And I think that this would be a fun role for him. I think he'd be like just that, like the right amount of crazy he'd bring to it. Because this guy's a little bit crazy since he's like a perpetual universe. He's a little bit like, yeah, he's a little bit different. I think Gary Oldman would be perfect for this. Like the old man hanging out with these young people who's, sharing wisdom, but also just a little bit goofy. I think Gary Oldman would be great.
How old is Gary Oldman?
He's older than Christopher whatever.
Tormund. Just call him Tormund.
Call him Tormund. He's 62.
Oof. Ugh.
So he's definitely older, but I think he'd be good in this role. I think it'd be
Gary
fun
Oldman is Sirius Black, right? Or am I thinking someone else?
Yeah. Gary Oldman plays Sirius Black.
He played Sirius Black, and he's 62.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, they really aged those characters. They're supposed to be like in their 30s.
And he was Jim Gordon in the Dark Knight trilogy, and
right.
He played Churchill, even though they made him look totally different. But yeah. He's great. He's an amazing actor.
He's an amazing actor. Fair enough.
That's why I picked for Manet or Manette or however you pronounce that.
Manet. That's
Manet,
how I said it in my head. But.
Moving on to his next friend, Simon, I think was next on our list. For Simon, I don't know what Barbara's going to think about this, but I picked Jonathan Groff. Jonathan Groff is probably best known for maybe his King George and Hamilton recently.
If you watched Glee, he's in Glee.
He's in Glee as well. He's great, and I think the character of Simon, like he would really bring him to life, and maybe even make him even more boisterous than he was in the book.
But Simon isn't boisterous. He's like the gentle, like sensitive type.
I mean, until you get some alcohol in him.
Well, until you get alcohol, but he's the sensitive one. Like I think that's even in your little list here that you had me pull up. I'm pretty sure he's described as a sensitive one.
He's emotional. I don't think he's sensitive.
That means you're sensitive. I'm sorry.
I thought that Jonathan Groff would be great in this role. I think it'd be fun to see him here.
Isn't he a little bit older though? Like most people don't realize how much older he is.
So I actually don't know how old he is. I know that the character is supposed to be 3 years older than Kvothe.
Right, which puts him at 18.
Jonathan Groff does not look as old as he is, to be fair. He is 35, though, so he's not...
I would say he looks about that age. Not like he looks old, because once again, 35 is not old, but he looks... I say he looks his age, if not like in his 30s. He looks like he's in his 30s. So I think you overcast him, especially because you... Well, I mean, you picked... Who did you pick for Kvothe? The younger version of Kvothe? University? Asa. See, he looks like he's 12 years old and he's only supposed to be 3. Like, you overcasted that. Too old. Like, you went to the extremes. Like, Asa Butterfield looks like he's 12 on a good day. And you picked someone who's not.
Yep, I did. I picked Jonathan Groff. That's my choice. I'm sticking with it. Fine. Who's yours?
I picked Ansel Elgort. I think is how you pronounce his name. So most people will know him, and he played The Fault in Our Stars. He was the main guy in that. I'm trying to remember.
Oops. Oh, the guy from Baby Driver.
Oh, yes. Baby Driver.
Yeah.
He's got like a baby face. Even
He
like
played Baby.
yes, I think he's in his mid-20s, I believe. He's got a baby face, so he could definitely play someone younger because he just looks like a younger kid and stuff like that. And he's got chops for that. Plus, he played Gus. That's his name is. And then he was also in Divergent as Caleb. But yeah, he played Baby in Baby Driver. So I feel like he's a very, very talented actor. So this is kind of maybe a small role, but I feel like he can play that, like the sensitive, emotional type really well as well. And maybe the crazy part when he's drunk, since Michael likes that.
I could definitely see that. I think that's a good choice. And definitely after you brought up the age thing, I should have looked up how old Jonathan Groff was before I cast him. He's definitely more age appropriate for the role. I'm sticking with Jonathan Groff because I love Jonathan Groff.
He's your Kate Beckinsale.
might have to shift Jonathan Groff into a different role if I was doing this again. Jonathan Groff would actually be an okay Arladin. He'd be an okay Kvothe's father.
I think
he's a little young
though.
Right? Yeah, I know.
He's a little young for that. I think he would be too young for that, but
yeah, it's tough. Anyway, moving on from Seven, let's talk about its other best friend of the trio. I guess it was a quattro since they had Manet every once in a while, but Willem is next, and is it my turn to go first? I keep losing track of that.
No.
No, I went first last time.
Because I literally just talked about Ansel.
You did. Who would you pick for Willem?
So I picked, I don't know if he goes by Alfred or Alfie Enoch. You would recognize him from what is it? How to Get Away with Murder. He plays Wes in that, but obviously, if you're a Harry Potter fan, then you met him as Dean Thomas in that. So that's who I picked. What are you doing?
I picked him too.
Oh, did you really?
Because you picked the same person I did.
I feel like once again, he's a little like he's in his I think late 20s or maybe early 30s, I believe. So once again,
32. So if you're gonna mock me for picking a 35-year-old,
yeah, but he looks younger though.
It's true.
He played a university student in How to Get Away with Murder. So,
he did. And I picked him too. So I'm not criticizing. He's great. I think he'd be great in this role. He's the first person I thought of actually when I got down to Willem in our list. So
because Willem's he's like the calm, collected one out of the group, isn't he? And I feel like Alfred Enoch.
Yeah, I feel like Alfred. Yeah, he's the perfect actor for that role. He's literally the first person that came to mind. So I'm not surprised that you picked him.
That's funny. Do you have anything else to say about him?
I don't. No, you pretty much covered everything I wanted to say about him. That's why I was waving my fist at you over the video camera. But moving on from Willem is Bast. So now we're going to talk about a couple of the present day characters. So Bast is I'm trying to remember.
He's like a fairy or something like that, isn't he? He's got little hooves.
Yeah, but I'm trying to think of like what. He has hooves.
He's his apprentice, Michael. He's his apprentice.
Yeah.
And he's like a magical being, but I can't quite remember what kind of magical being he was. Do you?
I don't either. I don't. And I don't want to look too deeply because I haven't read the next book yet. I don't want to spoil something about myself. But so for Bast, this is where we're going to have some crossover from a different character. I chose Robert Sheehan for this role as Bast. I would have picked Robert Sheehan for that. We might know him from the Umbrella Academy, like Barbara said before. He played Klaus there. I thought his general personality and what he brings to acting would be good for this character. I thought he could play a good Bast. He was the first person I thought of for this role. Actually, I think that he kind of looks like how I pictured Bast in the book too.
Bast is dark haired, blue eyed.
Robert Sheehan is dark haired. I don't know.
He has brown eyes.
But anyway, that's who I picked was Robert Sheehan for this. Who did you pick?
So I picked, and I'm going to butcher his name too, Taron Egerton?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Is it Edgerton or Egerton? Do you know?
I think it's Egerton.
Egerton. So I pictured, because I feel like Taron's got that like suave, and I feel like that's what Bast has, like that. But he can also play like an aggressive, because at one point like Bast gets a little aggressive towards the Chronicler when they figure out they're like mortal enemies, or I don't know, whatever why they kind of like hated each other for a second there.
Right.
So that's who I picked, because like Taryn's a very good and attractive looking person, and Bast is supposed to be like extremely attractive as well. But yeah, that's who I picked as Bast because I feel like he's got that. I was originally gonna pick Taryn for what's his face, the bad kid, Ambrose.
Oh yeah, he would be all right in that role.
Yeah,
too.
I was thinking about it for Ambrose too because he's actually really attractive, but I feel like I don't know if Taryn could play like that evil of a character. That's the only reason why I did.
We've never
pick
really
him.
seen him play that evil of a character, so that
No,
would be very different. But so moving on from Bast, Barbara was just talking about the chronicler. That's who we're talking about next. Is the person who is writing down the King Killer Chronicles as the book is playing out. So Barbara, who would you have picked as the chronicler in your book?
I mean, at this point, I literally just wanted to be done with this. I just picked Ice Cube because I just wanted.
This is what you picked Ice Cube for? You actually really did put him down?
I did. Anyways, I like Ice Cube's voice. I really enjoy his voice. And if anyone's going to narrate anything, I would love Ice Cube to do it. Is he the chronicler? No, absolutely not. Probably not. Not even in a million years. But I just want me some Ice Cube voice in there because I freaking love him. And I think he'd be hilarious as that. Just, it's one of those where like, what? Ice Cube? Yeah.
Ice Cube. Definitely the most, definitely the strangest choice.
I was just looking through people. I was like, oh, Ice Cube, he needs to be my movie. Put him in there.
So for me, I picked, for the chronicler, I chose Jarvis, Vision, Paul Bettany as the chronicler. I thought Paul Bettany would be great in that role. I think that physically, just the way he looks is similar to how we get him described in the book. A little tall.
I didn't think there was a description for him. I literally asked you, and you said no.
I found some art that kind of that's where I went off of. I don't know if it's like official by any definition, but I also think that what's funny is you picked Ice Cube for his voice, and I kind of picked Paul Bettany for his voice because I think he'd be great in that role as a narrator.
I mean, obviously you win this one 100%. Yours is a better character. I was just done at this point. I was like, Ice Cube it is.
So Paul Bettany is who I chose. And
Vision.
Moving on to our final character that we're going to talk about is Ari, the somewhat mysterious girl that he meets that lives in the underground area near the university. And I guess I get to go first now. So for her, I didn't know who to pick. I looked at like a list of like actresses, and I know she's supposed to be around the same age as Koth, and I ended up going with Saoirse Ronan for this. I thought number one, she's a great actress, and I think she played this role pretty well. And obviously I haven't read the second book or the novella, but I know that there's a novella that he's written that's completely about this character. And so I think that bringing in a high caliber actor like Saoirse Ronan for this would be okay, because she's going to get a bigger role later on if they make more movies. But yeah, I think she'd be great. I think she's shown she's an amazing actress in Little Women and in what was that movie that was nominated? The Brooklyn movie.
Brooklyn.
Just called Brooklyn? Okay.
Brooklyn.
Yes, she was great. She was great in that as well. So yeah, that's who I picked for Ari.
I too picked Saoirse Ronan as Ari, and I don't know why she would ever want to play this role, because she's a huge actress. So this is such a minor role. So obviously I don't know the second book if she plays a bigger role or not, but she's in this book. Ari only is in it for like 2 seconds, so it's like blink and you'll miss it type thing. So I don't really foresee her playing this role, but she's such a great actress. Like, I knew her since Atonement. Like, she played Bryony in that, and she was amazing in that. And I think she was even nominated for an Oscar when she played for a supporting role in that. She was Susie in Lovely Bones. I've seen like all her movies. Hannah, she was Hannah. So she's a top-notch actress, and I don't see her ever wanting to pick a role like this. Such a small, right? It's like she's a headliner. So
that's it. That is our dream cast, at least for some of the roles in the movie. There's obviously a lot of other minor characters that we didn't list off here. That if you have other ideas of who you would like to cast or other characters you think we should have cast, let us know. I'd be interested to hear what our listeners think, or who our listeners think should have played some of these roles. Maybe they'll all be like, you know what, Michael, you're an idiot. You should have let Barbara pick Ice Cube. He's the best for that part. I don't know why you insulted her and said that was an awful idea. Maybe that'll be what they say. Who knows? But yeah, let us know if you liked this. If you didn't, if you have better recommendations for people than what we gave you, let us know that too. It'd be fun to hear your thoughts. As always, thank you so much for listening to our podcast. We are the Badass Literature Society, or at least 2/3 of it. Hopefully you liked this episode. If you did, let us know. Leave us a rating, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever you listen to podcasts. If you've got an idea for a bonus episode, or if you've got a book you want us to read for our other main episodes, let us know. If there's another book that we've read that you'd like to us to do an episode like this on, like our Dreamcast, let us know. We can do another one. Also follow us on Instagram and Facebook. In both places, our handle is @BadassLitPod. And I think that's all I've got. Until next time, I'm Michael.
This is Barbara.
We'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.